Aloha, friends and neighbors. Rollin here, Kona astrologer. I'm about to share with you program number 1000 in this series that I titled Astrology, Ancient Science in the Modern World. Before I get to the sky mare, a quick commentary on, you're probably sick to death of the whole guns thing. There was a great cartoon, I remember, where they made fun of it. They're taking our jobs. Well, here the Republicans keep saying they're taking our guns. Look, the problem is the pistols and a crazy culture and mistrained policemen that, have lots of alternatives besides pulling a gun like a cowboy in the street and shoot, 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 shoot. It's their training, number one, and it's just the very use of the gun is silly when you've got so many alternatives that are non-lethal. Anyway, you look into history, and other countries don't carry handguns. They're not comfortable. The British used to have a strap across their chest, that helped carry the weight of the pistol. The policemen don't like carrying pistols either. But it got kind of crazy because here we've got open carry laws. There's a high school is open carry. I mean, what's going on here anyway? There's something really strange going on. This business of carrying a gun. And here we just had, you might remember a couple of weeks back from where you are, they put a bunch of policemen from other districts into the airports, and but they didn't give them guns. And these guys hollered, they had uniforms, and they were a lot of them were on the police forces of suburbs and stuff, but they weren't legally entitled to carry a gun in an airport. And so anyway, these guys came back and said they felt like targets and walking around an airport in uniform without the gun. I mean, the policeman feels like a target, and he feels safe if he's carrying a gun. That's the story we're supposed to buy. We're supposed to buy into that, folks. I don't buy into it. First of all, the whole business of they're taking our guns, baloney. I think, all the towns in the West had signs, don't bring your pistol into town. It's in the songs, it's everywhere. The worst was the Derringer, the little hidden pistol, so they just didn't allow them. You're going to carry a long gun, everybody knows it. It's hard to have an accident. I mean, people shoot themselves in the foot all the time with pistols. It's a silly tool. Police don't need it. But here we are stuck in this cultural, this mire of cultural belief in cowboys and carrying pistols and shooting. The silliest thing of shooting a pistol with two hands on it right in front of your nose. You can't see past your arms and your hands, and you're plowing ahead. It's pure television, pure movie stuff, and the Republicans, they're going to go after it and say they want to take away your guns. Hillary wants to take away your guns. No, just substitute pistol for guns and see what happens. I mean, the powers that, tend to scare everybody into doing what they want did the same thing with drugs, didn't they? Oh, drugs, drugs, drugs. No, what kind of drugs? When there's accident on the road, they say it was alcohol or speed or drugs. What kind of drug? They don't tell you. They just want to, they can lump everything into that word. They're doing the same thing with guns. It's ridiculous. It's the pistols we want to get loose of, and the training of the police to quick draw and shoot, shoot, shoot. That just isn't necessary. And, open carry, wow, totally ridiculous. Well, okay, enough of that. You're full up on it. We're going to do the sky mirror here, program 1000. We're going to cover the first week in February 2016. See what comes up. While you're watching it, I got a couple notes here. One thing is Mercury's on Pluto, and they're squaring Uranus, and this makes for very difficult communication. It's like loud talk. It's like people who won't shut up and argue and use a lot of dramatic, extreme words. Pluto's an extremist, and here's words, and it's squaring Uranus. They're going to take them off the air. Now, it just so happens that the moon sets this off, squares it. It's Friday the 29th. That's tomorrow. For most of you see the show on Thursday nights, huh? Well, here I've got, the planets all set up for you, and the sun's in Aquarius. It's going from 9 to 19 degrees here. There's going to be a new moon at 19 degrees. Yeah, in about 12 days from you, or 11 days from you, early Monday morning, the 18th. Now that new moon's in Aquarius, and it makes a nice sextile to Uranus, which is the planet of brotherhood. And, the police are really our brothers, aren't they? Why are they so scared? They're carrying guns. That's why. If they didn't carry guns, they wouldn't be scared. And we wouldn't have all these accidental shootings. And, everybody's blaming the policemen. They're going to should go after the billionaires or something instead who are doing the real evil. Or the drug lords. No, it's drug companies. It's, anyway, I don't want to get after it. Here we got a lot of word games going on because Mercury, there he is on Pluto, and there's extreme words. And they're at 16 degrees. Well, Uranus is at 17. And so it's even hard to get a sentence out at times like this. And the moon's going to go by there and square that. It's going to be pretty fresh tomorrow for you. Kind of in the middle of the day. There it is. If you're on the Thursday night show, well, there's a square to Venus. You won't get no sweets. But late at night here, midnight, 1 a.m. in the morning, here's a nice trine to the sun. And it feels a lot better. If you've got some ambition Friday morning. You even got organized here after breakfast. There's a sextile to Saturn at 14 degrees. And, but don't let your guard down, because here's the Mercury, Uranus, Pluto square. Eek! Now we had a Capricorn new moon at 19 degrees. It squared Uranus. So Uranus is sensitive in a bad way. It's just not loud noise. It's loud noise that makes your teeth grit like fingernails on a blackboard. It's that kind of stuff. So there's lunacy involved here. And the kids will, you can't communicate. It's hard to get around. This is prime for, large-scale shakings, earthquakes, tornadoes, kind of things that high winds knock down the communication lines different places in the world. And this is a shaking time, There's going to be one more due to that last new moon squaring Uranus. You get a month of it. There'll be one more up here on Friday night, the 5th of February, when there could be some shakings and stuff going on. Mercury's moved further away by then. So, it's not quite as traumatic as when Mercury's right there, see. So, of these, and this is the fact the moon's in Libra, and it opposes Uranus here, see. So everybody says, eek, Uranus. We don't like Uranus. What's that? High winds, electricity, unions, homeless people, refugees. I don't know. There could be a lot of stuff going on that's not reasonable, and it's not, you can't argue it, but everybody's going to try. And so this is a bad Friday, folks. The least said, the better. Yeah, can't say nothing nice. Don't say nothing. Saturday, the vibes continue through the morning. You're probably a little traumatized by what happened Friday, and you'll learn I don't want to go out. I don't want to talk to anybody. That's the way I usually handle these things. If the moon slips into Scorpio here around dinner time, Saturday, the 30th of January, and the vibes all change, and it feels a lot better. And you can here's Neptune and Venus. Boy, that's Sunday, the 31st. It's a time to go to church. Here's a time to study religion, art, music. Here's a time to sit with the birds. Here's a time to open up the compassionate, higher heart side of you. That's what good religion does. That's what good music does. So, play some Bach for your baby here, and Anyway, this is a really delightful Sunday. I hope the churches all fill up, and they're talking about compassion. Sunday night, here on dinner time, the moon squares the sun, kind of a little squabbly, You can't get done what you wanted, but if you stop worrying over it, you get control here about midnight Sunday night. Here's a sextile to Pluto, and there's some investigation. I didn't realize it was that. I get new information here Sunday night, Monday morning, really early, 2, 3 o'clock in the morning. And here's Mercury at breakfast saying, yes, let's talk about this. It's a good time to do that, to communicate this stuff. It's an excellent time. There's also a sextile to Jupiter. Where's that? I missed it now. There it is. And so there's truth and wisdom coming out. Yes, because Jupiter's in trine to Mercury with lightning bolts of truth Monday morning. Neat time, lots of laughing. Kids are going to be having fun here Monday morning. Good time. Moon in late Scorpio. Continues all through Monday. When you go to Tuesday, Moon switches into Sagittarius. And again, it's a different feel. Suddenly the music isn't quite so nice, and things get sticky, and Neptune, the bad smells Tuesday night. Confusion reigns. The Moon squaring Neptune. As it gets closer up here to Saturn, some of the ideals or the dreams you got into are going to get crunched. And so, it's a very sobering thing when the Moon goes by Saturn Wednesday morning in Sagittarius. Yes, very sobering. Uranus is there. There's some brotherhood in the middle of the day, but the morning especially is cold, and there's a feeling of being alone, and depends how bad the chemistry was, and the bad smells, and whether you followed some of those delusions you had Tuesday night. Oh yeah, that's a good idea. Let's mix the gasoline with our martinis. Anyway, you could feel the results Wednesday morning. This could be drinking too much. Usually when the Moon squares Neptune, a square is something you hold on to, and it's hard to stop. If you're holding on to Neptune, you can't stop. Tuesday night, you drank too much. Yep. Wednesday morning, you're dehydrated. The Moon goes by Saturn. Your face looks old. Body took all the water out of your skin to operate your liver and kidneys, and so you'd be shocked. You're yes, old face Wednesday morning. You think I'm kidding? I'm not. Here's a trine to Uranus. You got to have a laugh about it here after you see your old face from drinking too much the prior night. Here's a square to Jupiter. People are laughing too much. Clowns all around and jokers. I like that song, and I'm stuck in the middle again. Clowns on the left, jokers on the right. It's the way you feel Wednesday night. Maybe people are overcompensating for their depressive actions on Wednesday. First half of Wednesday, the Moon goes by Saturn, and you overreact. Laugh too much when the Grim Reaper isn't hovering quite so close. Whatever it is, it's overdone Wednesday. Thursday, just after breakfast, the Moon leaves Sagittarius, goes into Capricorn. It's a different situation, and starts off pretty nice in a way, because there's a Venus zone up here, and a Mercury, and let's see, this is Neptune here. Neptune and Venus. Wow, Venus is the lower love of perfumes and sex and sweets and goodies, and Neptune's the higher octave of Venus. You go to high compassion and stained glass windows and the love of the Great Spirit and religious ecstasy. So Neptune and Venus, boy, they're like Mercury and Uranus. Uranus is the higher octave of Mercury. You take the mind up one step, you get Uranus. You take the heart up one step, you get Neptune. So this is very nice, and it's on Friday, which is, Vendredi in French. It's Venus's day. The Venus, by the time you get here, has gone by Pluto, and so it's going to be late at night, and there'll be a little sense of power and control and maybe panic even. And then just after the alarm bells and the power goes out, because Venus comes in about 19, about 18, 19. See, so first you get Pluto at 16. Eek, a bug. A little panicky. Then at 17, you get the square to Uranus. We're all alone and the power just went out. And finally at 18, you get the conjunction to Venus. And there's some sweets and goodies and love. And you might as well just make the best of it, you know. Toast some marshmallows on a chimney fire or something. Anyway, I guess it's kind of a happy ending here Friday night. And here's Mercury's, he's pretty happy too. Moon goes by Mercury, you know, Saturday morning. So even though Murky Friday has this glitch in it in the afternoon and the evening as you go more late, and into early Saturday morning at, let's see, where's Venus? Right there. 1, 2 a.m. Friday for most of you. Well, that probably softens up this Freaky Friday a little bit, and by the time another roll comes around, there will be the new moon, because here it is. On Saturday afternoon, the moon shifts into Aquarius. It gets to a sextile to Saturn here on Sunday afternoon, early afternoon, and you're all organized, and then there's a nice new moon that actually there's a sense of brotherhood. Here comes common sense, Uranus. I was laughing the other day when Mercury stopped. My dad used to say non-compos mentis. What are you doing, Raleigh, you non-compos mentis? I never really understood what it was, and then when Mercury stopped, I said non means no, compos sounds like counting, computing, and mentis is mentality. So that non-compos mentis means the counting part of my mind isn't working. That's usually Uranus. That's your inside engineer, your common sense scientist. Anyway, this new moon sextiles Uranus. It takes you out of the shaky alone period. At sextile Saturn, you can get a lot done here. You could even convince some of these old Republicans, you know, Saturn, to do a little Uranus, a little environmental work for the good of everybody. And this is a month to start, starting on the 7th of February. We got a whole month to convince these guys, stop punishing homeless. Again, don't you realize the way that is? Eek. Now let's see, how much time have I got? I'm still doing good. I had a couple things I wanted to do, and because I'm dealing with some freaky equipment here, I'm not sure how to go about it exactly. But let me give it a try. First thing is the use of astrology. Basically, you can use astrology for two things. First, it can tell you about other people. And, you know, this is kind of a big thing. Amongst some of the students that I remember early, there was a general reluctance to give out your birth data to somebody who knew astrology, because they might get to know you too well. You know, I have a general policy not to do people's charts unless it's mom or dad or somebody, you know, that's only got the greater good for that person. So there's a side to this where your privacy could easily be invaded. You know, there's fears that if the government or the evil corporations started, you know, MGM used to put actors in the file box according to their rising sign. I used to hire people at Handyvan, drivers, amazing people, drive 12 hours a day and deal with people and drive. I just hired good Mercuries. I didn't care who they were. I knew I needed good Mercuries. Anyway, you can use astrology to get to know people. And what I recommend is a kind of a light level of this. I mean, it could take you years to learn transits and progressions and plumb the depths of somebody's chart, because there's squares and it's complicated. It took me a long time to learn, and I'm pretty good at learning. But there's a level here you can come to that's that's very helpful. And you can do it in a way that doesn't invade somebody's privacy. How's that, Astrologer Frost? Well, what you want to do is figure out the rising sign for people. Yes, because the rising sign, you know, one sign rises in the chart on the clock. Each one of the signs gets to come up here on this rising sign, and it takes 2 hours. Now, in my case, I'm Taurus rising. I'll even tell you that I'm 29 Taurus rising. But you don't need to know that. All you need to know is somebody's Taurus rising, and they could be born here, and then all through this period is a 2-hour time period. Clear to here, see. And when you just know the rising sign, and you're not zooming in on where the girl's Venus is or the man's Mars, or you're not digging into, secret knowledge that you might use, all you're doing is figuring out what the body's like out of 12 signs. Just knowing that your astrologer Frost here is a Taurus rising tells you a lot about me. And it allows you, if you suppose this is somebody in your family and you found out they were Taurus rising, well, you'd know that they start slow, like a bull out in the field. And if, on the other hand, let's suppose he's a Gemini, right? And well, Aries, they're self-starters, but Gemini rising, they're like a bird. A Gemini rising will get up in the morning and just jump and go for it. And they kind of go on a little for a while and off and on and off. A Taurus, and the things they do is more steady. Once they start things, they don't give up. Stubborn Taurus. So, you already know a lot of these things about these signs. They're really planets, When you're dealing with these signs, each one is truly a planet and translated into these sections. But nevertheless, what's important is you need a way to find people's rising signs without a lot of hoo-hoo, without a lot of hassle. And here's the way you do it. A lot of people don't know their time of birth, okay, but they know roughly what their time of birth is. So you get used to doing this, you can do it in your head. It's really kind of simple. First, we have the clock. Now these could be the zodiac signs, and there's 12 of them, just like on your clock is 12, but they're really, the best way to think about this is, here is 6 a.m. This is where the sun comes up, and here's 6 p.m. over here. Here's noon, and here's midnight, see? So what we've done is we've built a 24-hour clock. Now, once you have this in mind, what you're after, everybody knows their sun sign, okay? So you got a couple of questions. You ask somebody, what's your sign? And they'll give you their birthday sign. And so let's suppose the person says, oh, I'm a Capricorn. So, okay, you got a Capricorn sun sign. That means the sun is in Capricorn, and you're not sure where. If you want to get technical about it, the signs all change, on the 20th. And so the first day of a month is a 10 degree. And so you can ask them the date they were born, and if they were born, on the 12th or something, you could say, oh, you're very early. Anyway, the main thing is you find out what sign the sun is in, okay? Next, you want to ask them, what time of day were you born? I don't know. He says, I'm not exactly sure what time. I think it was about noontime. Somebody said noontime. Okay, now in your head, you're just going to put the sun right up here at noontime. And the sun is in Capricorn, right? Okay, now we've got zodiac signs around this thing, and just like the sky mirror, sometimes I use this one. Well, what you're after is the rising sign over here. So you say to yourself, okay, if we have Capricorn up here, and let's say we got Capricorn, here's Capricorn at the top of the chart, Cancer's at the bottom. Then you ask yourself, okay, what's over here on the rising sign? Oh, Aries. So this person, if they're Capricorn, is a good chance they're Aries rising. Now, let's suppose you're off a little bit. Let's suppose they're born at the very last day, and the sun's at 29 Capricorn here. Okay, it's almost going into Aquarius. If you had Aquarius up here on the 10th house, what you'd have over here, you have to count backwards, is Taurus. So they're either an Aries or a Taurus, okay? Now you just look at the person. And the easy way to find out, well, they look like a bull or they look like Aries the ram. They're either Mars, the ram, Aries, or they're Venus, Taurus. The sweet, easygoing one is the Taurus. The charge 'em dressed in red is the Aries. And you know your zodiac signs. And so this is not a hard sell. Now here's the other thing that's kind of fun, is that if you're having trouble pegging which animal the person looks like and acts like, now you're just looking at the body, not looking at personality, look at the body, okay? That's the trick of finding out the rising sign, because it is the body. Don't look at the face. That's the moon, personality. What happens is people are either gold people or silver people. Yeah. Fire signs and air signs wear gold. That's Aries, Gemini, Leo, Libra, Sagittarius, and Aquarius. The earth and water signs wear silver. Yes, Taurus, Cancer, Virgo, Scorpio, Capricorn, or Pisces, they all wear silver. They don't like gold. I'm a Taurus rising. You couldn't get gold on me. Doesn't feel right. Doesn't look right. Okay? So, you do the silver gold test. Just check out what kind of jewelry they wear. And that will give you the difference between which, if you're caught between two signs and you're not sure, you can determine it easily with the silver gold test. Yeah, works good. The other thing you can do with astrology, I'm going to have to get at more at that later, is you can tell what's coming up. It takes an ephemeris, or you just watch the sky mirror. You know what the planets are doing or what their dance is. Yeah, not bad.